Welcome back to the Nasty Word Podcast. I'm Nia Senior with my amazing co-host as always, Coach Slaw. And today we're going to be recapping WNBA All-Star Weekend. So let's just go ahead and get into it. The WNBA All-Star game is boring. We know this. No one cares to actually really watch the game. It's giving absolutely nothing. But finally, I feel like we can say the WNBA All-Star Weekend had immaculate vibes for the first time in like years. There was a build up. Last year was pretty good, but this year, I feel like it made the people really want to tap in for year 2026 and be in the city of where it's at, be around at the things, at the parties, all of the events. And that's not a the game itself, but everything surrounding it. And a lot of that has to do with two pink heads, studbudz. So we talked about it last week on our preview to All-Star Weekend, and we told y'all to tune into the 72-hour stream. They have blown up over the last week. Their 72-hour stream was iconic. I was tuning in. Everybody and their mama was tuning in. They've had interviews. They're dropping merch. Like, it's just blown them up on another level. So, Coach Slaw, did you tune in to the studbudz 72-hour stream at all?
Oh yeah, you already know. I'm a subscriber. I'm a lifer. But gotta tap in. Courtney Williams and Natisha Heideman. What people don't realize what they have done with this platform is unlike anything I think I've seen in sports before.
Wake that up.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen an athlete streaming how they move in real life during an All-Star weekend or in general, really.
No.
72 hours straight, super committed, and including their friends in it, including there's behind the scenes, and I think there's what they did, which was just like
Yes.
step for step, breath by breath. This is how we move, this is how we live, this is how we are trying to enjoy the short break that we're given. Appearances from tons of WNBA players,
So many.
from K-Mac to Nafisa to KP took a shot to like everybody was there. Every party was fun. They were bringing the energy. They were bringing the dancing. They were bringing their charm to it. And it was super unfiltered, super
Yes.
raw. And it helped, I think, not only the W's platform raise because you got to see them as people, not just as women's athletes in front of a camera and doing press or even doing a TikTok or a short live on Instagram or something like that. You really got to see how they interact with each other off the court, how they interact when they're conducting their business, doing promo at different clubs or doing appearances, what they expect as far as how they should be treated by fans and how they treat fans.
Yes.
And even how they conduct themselves in their personal lives. Like you see, there were a lot of relationships and couples that were either revealed or if you're paying attention to the degree and obsession level that someone like me or Anita is, are
Yeah.
just verified on a certain level. Folks who have partners or whether that be other players or people in the industry. It was a really great look into what the W platform's value really is and how it can be raised to a whole nother level. And I just applauded. It was super funny, super entertaining.
Hilarious.
I enjoyed it when I got to tap in on a couple of occasions. And they were really interactive with the chat the whole time.
No, for real.
Participate, get your own shot, tap in with us, tell us what music you want to hear, all of that. So I'm really proud of what they did, and I'm glad that they're taking this to launch it to a new level. And I think if you pay attention to Courtney Williams' business mind as it relates to media, Courtney is very smart and very intentional. All jokes aside, like Courtney knows what she wants out of her platform, and I haven't seen another point guard in the W other than the great legends like a Dawn Staley or somebody like that really utilize their platform in real time like this, age of social media and AI to leverage it. So this is
No.
really cool.
Yeah, it was super great. Like, I feel like they had so many iconic moments and they truly transported you there. Like, I felt like I was in Indianapolis with them. Like, I wasn't there, I was in Texas, but I felt like I was there. Like, I felt like I was talking to the players at the parties, all of the things. And speaking of iconic moments, so let's go through them. I would say the orange carpet was super iconic. Natisha Heideman having that moment with Skylar Diggins, as we all know, she said, for those who don't know, she was like, "Yeah, I had a crush on her, but I don't have a crush on her no more." So Skylar, being who Skylar is, came up to Natisha and decided to give her a hug and squash it and be like, "You still got a crush on me." And it was like a very cute moment, especially if you're like truly tapped into what's going on live. Then they went to the party that night. Courtney Williams was twerking on everybody in their mama. Like, you
Not
would have thought she was stud for stud, the way that she was twerking on K Mac and Sydney Quilton and Angel Reese and just whoever. The other iconic moment between Angel Reese and Natisha Heideman, her looking just so thirsty and just so enamored by Angel Reese. And I want to be in love with her. I want you.
nothing. Like, I can afford you. T was like, oh, you want like a bag or something? You want like a Chanel, Birkin? You
Yeah,
want? She's like, no, I don't want drinks. He's all, I can't afford you, and she's like, and that's why you're not.
afford me, yep. But then Natisha said, I can't afford you yet.
Yeah,
And
if drink popping off, they might be right.
exactly. Yes. So that takes us to like day two. That's when we had, well, back up a little bit. Night one, Cheryl Reeve was on there. That's the Minnesota Lynx coach for those who don't know. And that's Courtney Natisha's coach. She was on there dancing and having a good grand ghetto ball child. Next day at
Okay.
practice, she's talking about AI is crazy. That was AI. It's just so many like hilarious moments that happened. It was Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe at the actual like skills challenge and stuff with them, talking on the stream, asking them like, "Oh, you've never been strapped? That was crazy."
That was
And
wild. Like some of these
insane.
are a sexual harassment risk, but that's none of my business.
No, for real. It was insane. I feel like there was just so many more moments. They literally lost their mic because they were so drunk. They had to DoorDash new mics. They DoorDashed a scooter because they had a partnership with DoorDash. It just was like
Even Cassidy
genius.
Commissioner popped up, pulled up, and did a little jig with him.
Kathy was
Kathy
out there
lit.
yucking and bucking.
Mark was lit. She was giving us I run the fracks. And AB was still like being Caitlin Clark's handler. Get your drink out the camera.
Girl,
Like,
don't be honest with
she's
you.
grown. Like, it's fine. She's in a setting where it's appropriate to drink. Like, it's not like she,
Exactly. I
about
think
5 anywhere. She's cool.
like, it was just so cool to see, like, all the players, all of the other people that are there that are, like, retired players or people that were in the league, like, surrounding, like, seeing moments from them, having conversations. And I think, like, the most iconic or my favorite moment on studbudz was, like, the Diplo moment. So, for those who don't know, Diplo is literally, like, a musical genius, very much a very famous DJ
Global.
phenomenon. And Courtney Williams just went up to him and was like, "Can you give us something to shake our ass to?" Like, asking him to change
He's one from EDM.
yeah, he was like, Diplo. Like, they had no idea. And then he started playing the mixes of hip hop and other stuff, and they were like, "He cold. Like, he's
Oh,
really
like,
good."
I do this shit. And he's like, this is my song. They're like, oh, shit, for real?
And the whole time, he's like, "Y'all don't know who Diplo is." Like, this
Yeah. I was
representation.
cackling. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, as somebody who's also a music head, I was cackling. I was like, how do y'all not know who Diplo is? This is insane.
And
Like,
like,
it was that shows you how authentic it is, right?
yes.
It was just, I was cracking up.
But it also just makes you think about, like, how audacious they are, and, like, I love that, like, the audacity to walk up to someone who's the DJ and be like, "Hey, can we change the music?" And not just walk up to them, like, over the thing, like, they standing in the DJ booth with him, like, on the
Right.
stage, talking to Diplo, change the music. Like, the audacity of it just lets me know how far they can really go with it. The authenticity of it, it just was, like, so wonderful, and it made All-Star Weekend. I feel like there's people saying the word stud that have never said the word stud before, like, studbuzz, like,
Yeah.
it's just happening and rolling off the tongue. But I feel like it brings to a bigger point of you talking about and us talking about player-led content and like how important that is, that the W have to move towards more player-led content, but also just leaning more into authenticity of like who these women are outside of the court. I feel like this was the most gay all-star we ever had. It's like that's crazy to say 28 years into the W, but this is the
Mhm.
most gay. But it's like this is the reality of it. And I
Yeah.
feel like we really bought into that.
A lot of platforms and industries that rely on media are at a crossroads where those legacy media styles of presenting and branding your product, which in this case is in a lot of ways the players, their style of play and who they are. Like, we know Caitlin Clark is a marketable face and personality, sure. We know Asia Wilson is one, sure. But the argument about some of the more mass presenting and particularly mass presenting people of color in the W
Yeah.
not being marketable unless it's time to market them because they are somebody who appears to be superhuman, because like a Brittany Griner, or go through what Brittany Griner went through. That is getting defunct. Like, that's dead in the
Yeah.
water. Like, studbuzz has broken that right up. And the younger generations who you want to be tapped in, these are the platforms they're using now. One of the biggest superstars for people under 18 is Kai Cenat, who is a live streamer. Like, it's not, it's about catching up to the times, not
Right.
just and not just creating room, because I personally have my own thoughts about the importance of diversity and seeing different faces and bodies and people. Sure, it's not just that. It's like y'all are going to get left behind or not take full advantage of what you can take advantage of in this new age of technology. Wake that up, as Nia would say.
Wake that up. And there's something that you said I want to wake up, especially like you said, when it comes to the mass presenting women in the league, especially mass presenting women of color. I feel like their marketing or anything, even lately in the last like year or so, is so limited and small minded. Like we see them in Walkser commercials, and that's about it. It's like they are multidimensional, like fully faceted people. And I feel like Studbud really tapped into that. Oh no, we can market them more than for just boxers for women. Like they're funny people. They do hair as well, like the pink hair dye. There is a whole large demographic, and I don't even know, just so much marketing that
If they don't, if neither one of them has a deal with a chain distributor already or a jeweler,
yeah,
I don't know why they wouldn't. But and I know that Courtney Williams, again, scroll back, do your research, but Moolah, the shoe brand that's designed by, owned by, marketed by a fully women staff company, the only basketball shoe brand. Courtney Williams is endorsed by them. And because of the league rules, Courtney can't even show the full logo when she wears mullahs on the court, because the league has rules about if you want to be in a shoe, then that brand or company also has to have a contract already with the W, right?
yeah,
And the barrier to entry for that is really high, because we know a lot of the brands that have already taken off have the money and resources and access to be able to make those deals. But yet, a company or a league that's supposed to be all about women's sports and promoting the power of women is blocking Mulan from getting that access because of the way they like to structure their deals or the threshold for it. So it's again catch up. Like, you have to get this with
exactly.
everything going on the way it's going on, the value of the brand growing, it happening so fast. There's too many connections and too many smart people involved in this process for people to get this wrong. It would be a willful thing to get it wrong, in my mind.
No, I completely agree. And I think that StudBudz is just going to continue to grow. Like we said on their stream, we got to see the personalities of so many players that we are never exposed to. And that is going to open doors for them. And I feel like it's also going to open doors for the league as a whole. Like I can see other sponsorships wanting to pour in. And I think that Courtney and Natisha should get some credit for that. Like some type of acknowledgement for the type of exposure that they have given the W, given the players, and how that's just going to grow the league and grow everybody else's platform. It's like a they eat, everybody eats. So yeah, StudBuds, they really did their big one. Now, we would be remiss to not talk about the current mishap. It seems like they blew up in the last weekend, but also potentially could be on a little bit of a downslide. So for those who don't know, I forget how to pronounce his last name, Dave Portnoy.
Portnoy.
Portnoy. Thank you. That shows you how much I'm tapped into him. I don't give a damn. But he has talked so much cash money shit about Angel Reese, has said a lot of racist rhetoric about her, about Black people in general, has used the N word and been caught on camera multiple times. And it's just someone that you would not expect to be aligned with a league that's supposed to be all about inclusivity, and especially the studbudz, how close they were, how much they had Angel on their stream, how they interacted with her in Unrivaled and seemed to be like an ally of hers. Studbudz said that they would be open to having a conversation with Dave and potentially having them on their stream. And so they have received a lot of backlash on social media about that. And I'm not sure how I feel about the Studbudz response. Courtney Williams made a tweet and just said that she was open to having a conversation with anybody. And they just reiterated, her and Natisha, how much they rock with Angel, that they've spoken to Angel about it, and that like they're standing 10 toes behind Angel. But I feel some type of way about even giving this man a platform, especially just because Angel received so much hate already. And it, like, I feel like you should protect Black women, especially a Black woman you claim to be friends with, to be colleagues with, to care about. So I do think that it's giving me the ick just a little bit. Like, as much as they've blown up and as much as I appreciate what they did for All-Star Weekend, it has me questioning them. But also, it's very authentic. I think that we hold celebrities, we hold athletes to a higher standard and would want them to have a moral high ground in the way that we do. And sometimes they just don't. Sometimes they do not have the knowledge. Sometimes they don't have the capacity. And sometimes they just don't know better. But Coach Slaw, any thoughts on this, on the whole Dave Portnoy and Studbud's potential? It hasn't even happened, but the potential of him being on their platform.
Yeah, I think when people hear open to a conversation about doing something, they think it means, oh, yeah, we want Dave to come on the show. And
Yeah,
and if you've been paying attention, I've been watching Courtney Williams a long time.
same.
I'm from Atlanta. She did a lot for Atlanta Dream. And if you are somebody who's moving in this game that is business, you understand who Dave Portnoy is to sports and who he is to Caitlin Clark fans and who he is as far as somebody who has a lot of leverage and control on getting reach on social media and attention drawn to you, good or bad, right? And so something I and just like that was missed in a lot of the conversation around this because I think we're in an era where people are just like, no, I'm sick of you. You got the ick now. You're canceled, whatever, whatever. Is and what people don't realize about doing media deals, doing brand deals, that kind of thing is saying you're open to a conversation with who? You're the hottest thing about the W right now with this stream, draws a lot of eyes to you, not just Dave Portnoy. And then on top of that, if you do have a conversation, even if you're not interested really, you know who exactly this is and you know they're slimy. But if they're willing to make you an offer because he's got a brand right now, whether we like it or not, that's incredibly valuable. He makes you an offer. You leverage that against other offers and take the right one. Is a strategy. Now, some people might not be down with that. But if Apple came to me
Yeah.
and said, Sade, I want to give you a $1.2 million contract to market iPhone. The first thing I'm doing is saying, cool, let me talk to my people and going straight to Samsung and saying, yo, Samsung, Apple got 1.2 for me. They're your highest competitor right now. What you got?
Okay. I see where you're coming from a business standpoint, but personally, me, I truly believe that all money isn't good money.
Saying they weren't ever going to take that deal. And even Courtney's manager
Her dad.
said that. He's like, no, we were leveraging that and leveraging the attention it would draw because he's not even genuine. Like, we know what he's about. He's also leveraging the fact that they have the most attention on their platform right now to be like, maybe they'll do something with me. Even if they don't, now I know a whole bunch of people who were paying attention to studbudz, paying attention to W, but we're not paying attention to Barstool, Googled Barstool Sports. I know that. It's all a game. It's psychology. It's like when 50 Cent said, I had power. I knew it was a great television show. I knew I had almost no marketing budget. So I said, okay, what's the biggest Black show on television with a marketing budget?
Empire.
Empire. All right, I'm going to tweet about Empire as much as I can, and it will raise the attention around power. It's a strategy a lot of the time. So I think a lot of stuff can get missed when you are so quick to say, oh no, like Portnoy's a bad person. They shouldn't even say his name. Sure, that can be your point of view. I'm just offering like there's more to an approach in that way than meets the eye at first.
I definitely see your point as someone who has a business degree and grew up with an entrepreneur. I can definitely see the strategy behind it. But as someone who is just so value and moral driven, it put a bad taste in my mouth. I just do not believe that getting clout off of someone that potentially has harmful motives or the ability to spread harmful rhetoric makes sense, especially for a league like the league we have, especially knowing how the Caitlin Clark fans are. Yeah, it made me concerned.
Did they though?
I feel like even if it's part of the
They
strategy,
were the ones that's popping. That's why he even said their name.
yes,
He's
but
gonna use them, so they flipped it on him. Is what I'm saying.
yeah, I see where you're coming. No, I definitely get it. I definitely understand exactly where you're coming from and exactly what you're saying. I'm just saying, for me personally, and I feel like this was a lot of other fans who felt this way based on what I saw on social media, is that okay, yeah, he used your name and you're gonna potentially try and get clout off of him because he's getting clout off of you. But I think that the clout that comes with him to me wasn't necessarily worth the gain of what they had just because of the type of person that he is and the potential harm that he could perpetuate, even just by using the clout of it. I wouldn't want to be associated with that. And I wouldn't want my brand associated with that. But I get why they did it? Yes. Does it make sense? Does it make money? Yes. But everything that makes sense is immoral. And so that's just like my hiccup about it.
Yeah,
But
I was just saying, I was like, from a business standpoint, it makes sense to me why you would take advantage of that moment. From a moral standpoint, it also makes sense to me why you wouldn't. I was just trying to offer that because I think we're in an age where there's no room for nuance with a lot
yeah,
of people, and they would take that one thing and go with it as to why, oh, you must hate Black women, you must hate this, you must. And
yeah,
they are Black women too. So how much credit are you giving them for being a little bit smarter than that? Like, I don't know.
yeah. It's a rough situation. So we will allow you guys as audience members to figure out how you feel about it, how you want to support the stud buds going forward. Are you like, all right, no, I have the ick from this. I don't support them anymore. I'm not buying the merch. Or if you're like, I'm still rocking with them. Get your coins, do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, Stud Budz made All-Star Weekend iconic, so we couldn't not talk about them and not mention them. So the rest of All-Star Weekend, like we said, it was the vibes. Like they were the vibes, everything was the vibes, but the actual pieces of All-Star Weekend in terms of the skills challenge, 3-point contest, and the game itself was just like, I could watch it. It's cool. Am I obsessed with it? No. So we don't even want to waste y'all's time talking about it. If you saw it, you didn't miss too much. But what we do want to talk about,
You mean who won? We should say that.
oh, because we did predict.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so hard being right all the time. Team Fee, aka Team Hangover, did win the All-Star game. Skylar Diggins had the first triple double in an All-Star game ever, which was cool. Natisha Collier, of course, made MVP for the All-Star game. Yeah, they had the 4-point shot. People kept trying to chuck it up. Some people was making them, some wasn't. But the 4-point shot, I will say, it definitely made that sport tick up. It was definitely in the triple digits quickly, I feel like.
Yeah. And it's not that I underestimated Team Collier. It's more that I forgot how much try hard matters in an all-star game. If
And
the all-star
yes.
game was structured in a way that could be competitive,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the result. If you try hard enough, you'll just win the all-star game. And I think it was a good time for that because they were locked in for Team Feet.
Exactly.
This is obviously like the year for Fee to really excel, not necessarily as a player because she's always been locked in, but as getting her flowers
Yeah.
for the way she conducts her basketball and her business and the platform her and Stewie have created through Unrivaled
Yeah.
in showing what the players really deserve. I'm glad that she was able to soak in that moment, particularly when most people just thought it was going to be the Caitlin Clark show the
Yeah.
whole weekend. It turns out it ended up being the studbudz and Fees show
The whole weekend.
the whole weekend, which is the exact opposite branding strategy of a Dave Portnoy, or some would argue even a platform like an ESPN as far as what they lock into and promote on a regular basis. Because you can't talk about the W, you can't even talk about women's college basketball anymore without raising Cece's name on that on ESPN or NBC Sports, depending
In
on
basically
what
any
you
sports platform.
want to use.
Agreed. But you mentioned a great point. So last episode in our preview, we mentioned about like how we thought that the All-Star game would not be competitive and like that it isn't. And so Sabrina Ionescu made a statement during All-Star weekend, a great one, of why it's not as competitive as it could be. And
Mhm.
so Sabrina Ionescu basically said, hey, this is supposed to be our time to get a break, especially for those who have played overseas, played all the way up and through the season and play year round. So that's why it's not so competitive. It's okay, we're supposed to be taking a break, resting our bodies, resting our minds. And in addition to that, even though they're supposed to be resting their bodies, they're doing so much in terms of like marketing. There's 5011 panels, there's podcasts that they have to be on, there's appearances, there's pictures, there's all of these other behind the scenes pieces of All-Star Weekend that are also like tiring and draining. And I feel like Studbuds did a good job showing us all they have to do in terms of like media and additional to just the game itself and the contest. And so I thought that that was a really good point that she made. Okay, like we're trying to rest. That's why we're not out here going hard. That's why we're not defending. But I do feel like we made the great point on our last episode of put some money in it. People will be tired for some money or do something. Make some type of incentive for them to play hard in the game.
After a break. Then first game coming back was a little trash anyway. I didn't care to see that.
Yeah, I feel like it should be at least a whole week. Like we literally had games again on Tuesday.
Just give them a longer break. What the hell? The
Ex-
helly?
Exactly. I
All these
I
knee injuries, all these foot injuries, all these groin injuries y'all care about so badly.
we could definitely benefit over some real rest. As much as we love the consistent hoops, the year-round hoops, the girlies need some rest so that it can still be a quality product. I just wanted to like highlight for sure what Sabrina was saying and just like why the game is not competitive and that we're calling it boring because it is. Like these are just facts. And maybe that will change in the years to come, but I doubt it. The NBA All-Star game has been boring for years and years, and people go simply for the vibes of the weekend. It's a destination. So the other major part of this particular WNBA All-Star Weekend that was going on in the background is the CBA negotiations. So for those who are not familiar, the CBA is the collective bargaining agreement that the league basically is governed by. And so that has to do a lot with like salary cap, roster spots, all of the ins and out of like the business piece of the W. And so this year they're in negotiations because the CBA is due to end. And so the players are a part of that negotiation, the Players Association. And so we were getting a little bit of information prior to All Star Weekend about how the negotiations were going and that there was going to be a big meeting that was supposed to happen during All Star Weekend. And basically, the players let us know prior to All Star Weekend that they felt like the terms that the league, the W, was coming back with were not sufficient. They didn't meet their needs and would not be an agreement that they would sign. And so there was more meetings and more just conversations about what's going on. And the players even decided to wear on their warm-ups for the All-Star game to pay the players what they owe them. Yeah, Coach Law, I don't know if you have any thoughts about the CBA negotiations, but we hope to see how like maybe we'll get more information going forward.
I think we need a deeper dive because I want to, like in another episode, because I want to get into the more nitty gritty details.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot going around on TikTok and on Twitter and or X or whatever and Blue Sky and Threads about teams aren't profitable, so how are they gonna? It's an oversimplified explanation that doesn't get at what it needs to get at as far as what the players are owed. This recent growth and the recent media deal that the W entered into with NBC when the NBA negotiated their deal with NBC for media rights is like a deal that's unprecedented and really broke open the argument from owners from the past that says we don't have the money to increase you all's revenue share deal point the way you want us to. You could estimate over the course of the 11-year deal, each team would have something like another 20 to $30 million to spend on paying players. What their share is, rightful share, which they're asking, I think 50% of revenue share,
Yep.
straight up. And I think if they don't get this right, there absolutely should be a strike.
Yeah, so that was the major thing that came out of All-Star Weekend. I feel like in the CBA negotiations is that the players are talking about a potential strike, that there may be a pause of play if the negotiations do not turn out how they would hope or they get closer to what they're asking for. So I support it.
What I would actually say more about that is I would like to see NBA players,
Mm.
in particular ones who have been supporters of the W. I'd like to see current NBA players also threaten to sit. I'd like to see NBA alumni that are part owners and have equity in some of these teams step to the forefront of making sure it's known, like in those rooms where those decisions are being made, like this is the right thing to do, and leverage their power as well. I know most of the former NBA players that are involved in the W or professional athletes in general that are involved in ownership in the W are definitely minority owners,
Yeah.
levels to everything, even the richest of the rich in your mind are not as wealthy as some of the owners in the NBA and the WNBA. And I also understand that the way the structure for ownership in the WNBA is set up is different depending on what team you're on. Some teams are owned by NBA teams, some teams are not. Some teams from the beginning have been invested in developing conditions that would create the right conditions for the W players to take care of their bodies, have their own facilities, all of those things. Some were not. And I know that there's a value difference there, but if you don't make these decisions and make them right, you're going to miss the best opportunity as a long-term investor to get your money,
Hello.
right?
Yeah.
Like some of y'all are in it for the long game of, okay, it may not be profitable now, but it's something. And when it does hit that stride, you want to get the most out of your investment, no? But at the same time, some of you all understand how some of this game works. Some of you are using for your own personal benefits for taxes to offload some of the income tax. I get it. And I think we need to do a deep dive on some of that because if people understood that some people aren't owning a W team necessarily for the purpose of making it profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that is one of their businesses in their vast portfolio. Maybe they are really a real estate mogul. Maybe they are really a media entity. Look it up. Each owner has their own things that they're into. But if you understood that, you would understand why the structure of this thing is just not fair right now. And they're not asking to be paid something crazy, really.
No.
They're athletes year round. You expect them to be in tip top shape.
Yes.
You expect them to play. You expect them to travel, but you don't want to pay them so that they can conduct their lifestyle to be in tip top shape, to pay for travel, to take care of their family. And it just doesn't make sense at this point. They're treating your league, even though it is the best brand, as if it's the summer job to their real money.
Exactly. I think there is a lot of nuances and different pieces that we need to discuss about the CBA, but it was important to mention it in terms of our recap of All-Star Weekend. So be on the lookout for a future episode where we do a deep dive into the CBA negotiations, what's going on, what the current CBA is, and all of those details. But yeah, that was the 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend. Now we are in the second half of the W season, and so we must talk about our team. For those who don't know, Coach Slaw and I are Las Vegas Aces fans. We both have been following them for years. And so we must pose the question, what is happening to the Aces? Why are we currently 12 and 12? Why is the best player in the world, Asia Wilson, on a team with barely a 500 record? Why are they losing so many games? What's going on with Jewel Lloyd? Is Becky Hammond going to lose her job? Do we need to make a trade? Especially because the current president of the Las Vegas Aces, Nikki Fargas, made the crazy statement of, we have everything we need, talking about pieces in terms of players to be a successful team. So, Coach Law, what is happening to the Aces? What is your answer to this?
This is a multifaceted issue. Rebuilding is a tough thing. And I think myself included in this, a lot of sports fans in general who have locked in the social media age, particularly new ones, and seeing the success of the Aces, seeing the success of other teams that are trying to build a sports dynasty, think it's normal to win all the time. And it's not. It's just not. I think we grew up in an age where you had the Golden State Warriors, you had the Patriots, you had all of these teams that were making like almost back to back consistent championships in their leagues at the highest
Yeah,
level. And people think that shit is just normal. Like it just happens because you have good players on your team, you have a great coach, and you have a good GM. And that's just not true. There's so much that goes into it. And I think it's very easy to look at the decisions that were made in the offseason as far as deciding to trade KP, Tiffany Hayes go unprotected, and say those are the answers to why the Aces are not doing well. Oh, why'd y'all get Jewel Lloyd? That's not a 1-for-1 trade. KP's better than her this year, and Jewel's playing like dirt. You could not have predicted that Jewel Lloyd would do this year. I don't care what last year's numbers say. 19 and 0.2 was her point at game average, right? Points per
yeah,
game last year. She was still the top scorer on her team with all the drama and bullshit. And she still had the skill set of the gold mamba. There is nothing you could do with the information you had at the time to sit there and say, yeah, no, Jewel's gonna shoot 0 for 4 from 3 consistently this year. Like there's no way you would have looked at the numbers, you would have looked at the film, and you
and
would have
awesome.
said, Jewel's not gonna play well. Another issue on offense, spark off the bench. People
Yeah,
underestimate that all the time. Tiffany Hayes was brought in to the Aces for that very reason.
for sure.
I think you can only protect what you can protect. And as far as the price point they were looking for and all of that, and who they thought their core was going to be and what they would look like, I think it was a business decision to let Tiffany go, figure that out through gaining Tiffany Mitchell, somebody who's an ally to Asia Wilson from
Yeah.
South Carolina, and build an identity around that. I think that was a good decision too. On paper, that's a good decision. Now, letting Tiffany Mitchell go was crazy to me.
Yeah, that's the main issue that I have.
That was crazy to me. I'm not gonna lie, but I would have made that decision. It's not a bad decision with the information you had at the time.
Okay.
And I think the KP thing hurts people the most because, and I know I'm not the person people want to hear about KP. I think I love KP as a player. I hate some of the decisions KP makes in key moments. I think that's my relationship to KP. My parasocial one, anyway. I don't have a relationship with her. It's easy to say that since Jewel's not getting bucket. Very easy to say that. But like, I don't think trading KP is the end of the world when you can't protect and keep what don't want to be there. She wanted to leave. Y'all missed that part.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
He wanted to leave.
Right now, I'm just coming from a place of hurt and just despair. That's why I'm just like, I'm
Yeah, it's like
resting.
it's when you move your emotions aside, is what I'm saying. When you move
Yeah,
your emotions about God, our record looks like shit. Asia's working her ass off. What the hell is going on? And you really look at the facts. A lot of the cracks in the foundation of the Aces from last year are the same as this year, as
this is
far
true.
as lack of connectivity and fluidity on offense, lack of talking and getting it done properly on defense, even more because I think the key loss for the Aces is not even KP. I think it's Alicia Clark. It's one thing to have somebody that can give you 30, and that's incredibly important as a guard that's like a lights out, great for your brand, always has energy and effort. You never have to question it. That's not what I'm saying. KP is immaculately talented.
Yeah,
Alicia Clark was their point guard on defense.
wake that
Alicia
up.
Clark's mind is incredible as far as it comes to analyzing the game of basketball, putting in the work to study every piece of film you can to give your team an advantage defensively, and taking the sacrifice of not being a lights out shooter to do the dirty work, both rebounding wise and on defense, to get people in the right place and to make the right plays at the right time to give y'all the advantage, right? Like you have to just want to do that. You have to be in you to do that.
Mm,
She's the quintessential, like, I can guard positions 1 through 5.
damn near.
No one wants to, most people don't want to guard their own position.
No, for real. They don't.
Most people don't want to guard their own position. I'm going to guard 1 through 5. I'm going to study film and I'm going to make sure I even know, okay, but what could give us an edge if I make someone's go left more? The analytics say they miss a little bit more on the left. Like, you have to be obsessed with that shit. Okay. And that's a key piece that's missing that made them a great team. And I like people can argue with me if they want to. The receipts are there.
This is true. I feel like you're making excellent points that I feel like a lot of people are not willing to see. I think that people don't realize how much we really lost in the off season. Yes, we got to keep like Olympians and so much of our like star power, but at the same time, we lost fundamental like role playing key pieces. And I think that people they underestimate the importance of role players.
And connectivity in basketball.
Yeah.
Even if Joel's getting 15 to 20 a game, are we winning? Because our decision making
No,
defensively is trash. Our effort is trash.
wake that up, Lord.
Right? Like,
It is. And
at
I'm
some
blaming
point, you got to lock in and lock down at some point.
I feel like they just seem defeated. And I also think that part of it is coaching. I think that like Becky Hammond, I thought was one of the better coaches in the league.
We're not going to fuck with Becky Hammond's clipboard. We're not. And we're not going to support her personnel management because in coaching, they talk about how there's trees.
Yes.
Like, particularly in the NFL, like there's a Belichick tree of all the people that came through up and under his mentorship and see the way he's done things. And then they go out and they're coaching for the Jets. They're coaching for this. They're doing this. They're an offensive coordinator over here. We're not going to do that. But I do think Becky's kind of at a loss because she has said herself she doesn't know how to coach and she won't coach effort. And I think
I'll say that.
the scary part about that is when you know your clipboard is strong and you know your personnel has skills, because that's not even really the problem. We've seen what these people can do. We've seen glimpses of it even this season.
True.
But your assessment of the situation is these bitches are not trying. Sorry, these players are just not trying hard enough.
Exactly. What the hell?
Not talking about Asia and really not talking about Leonide. She's trying. She's gonna make more mistakes. She's a because you just don't know what you don't know yet. But yeah, yes, you absolutely can coach effort, and you should if that's the thing your team needs the most.
Exactly. I feel like you have to be, as a coach, able to adapt to the group that you have. So in the past, you didn't need to coach effort because you didn't have that group of players. But this group of players needs that type of coaching. And so you have to be able to pivot and adapt to that. And I think that Becky is just stuck in her old ways and unwilling to do that. And it is not allowing the team of the current roster that we have to progress. And it's so unfortunate. It's girl.
And it might be cause for a fresh start, a fresh
Yeah.
bit, because especially at the professional level, in my opinion, and from what I've studied, if you can't come in with the kind of philosophy and energy that's gonna make people excited to come to work every day and compete, because that's what effort really means at
Yeah.
that level, is not just like you're doing things hard and fast. That's not, you're competing with every drill, with every rep, with every execution of a play, with by getting in the film room on your own and with coaches, by coming to the meetings and being locked. If you can't create the energy and environment for people to be locked in like that, something's got to give. If you can't do that as the head coach anymore, it might be time to move on. And if you can't do that as the point guard anymore,
Hello.
it might be time to move on. Or it might, at least at the bare minimum, be time for a factory data reset. Because y'all, I've never seen some people that I know, like from watching them throughout the years, how high basketball IQs they have, to keeping themselves in shape in their bodies, all of that stuff. I haven't seen some of the dumb things like
No, great.
always like the lack of attention to detail and execution and mental lapses over and over again, or just like playing with a haze of your eyes until the second half, like not playing a complete game. I haven't seen this from this level and caliber of a group. I don't know when. Like, it's really wild. And I understand why Becky's at a loss, but maybe it's time to call some people up and figure out, what do I do? How do I coach effort? How do I get people locked in? I need a different approach, because what I'm doing isn't working.
Exactly. I think it really is time to go to the drawing board in a lot of respects. Cause I think that as much as I hate the statement that Nikki Fargas made about like we have everything we need, and I do not think that to be true, I do think that we have more than what we are actually producing. We could win more games. Some of these games that we're losing, the game we just lost this past week to Indiana Fever was a winnable game, especially with the talent that we have. But I do attribute a lot of that, yeah, coaching. We need some type of change, push, because they just don't have the hunger inside of them. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to.
Asia was very hungry, and Asia be eating.
Oh, Asia, she's on a buffet every game. And when I'm saying not hungry, I'm never talking about Asia Wilson. And
No,
it's actually
this is
very
right.
upsetting to me and my homegirls, 'cause we're just like, are we wasting some of Asia's best years?
Yes, that's
Basically,
not the question. That's what I would do. Look, from what we've seen, this is not Asia's character necessarily.
no. What are you?
But I would at least entertain the conversation. Conversation is a great word.
Mm,
No, I could go
okay.
else. I don't have to be here.
Yeah.
Like, it would be sad. It wouldn't be great. It would, but I built a lot here. I appreciate y'all. And I would have that conversation with my teammates, but
Mm.
I don't have to be here. I could be with some people that want to play with me.
Hello. Wake it up.
And that's damn near everybody in this league.
Literally everybody.
That's damn near every coach.
I don't see a team saying no. Yeah. So it's very disheartening, but we'll see. Hopefully, the season's a wash. I have no hope for the remainder of the second half of the season, but we'll see what happens in the off season.
If I was a coach, assistant coach, I'd be like, every day we're competing. What makes you tick? Like, every day, every practice. I don't even give a fuck about running these sets. Like, we're running ones. Like, we gotta get y'all's competitive nature back.
Some edge.
We need something. Like, you need to get your ass busted or something, so you wake up, like something. Cause
Yeah.
we had an AA team when I was in the 7th grade where we went through a slump where it looked like shit. And our coach did that. He said, y'all look like y'all tired of playing basketball. And
Mm.
you fucking 13.
Okay.
All I wanted to do when I was 13 was play basketball. Why are y'all tired? Why are y'all bored? You look bored as shit and miserable. He literally was like, in starters, it's mostly you. So every practice now, you have to win your starting spot. It's not guaranteed. At the end of every practice, we're having scrimmages and we're having ones. If the starters don't win scrimmage and you don't win the ones in your position, you ain't starting. That's the criteria. And we woke up quickly. It worked.
I'm with it.
Now that's 7th graders. They probably need like a sports psychologist or something. But
Yeah.
it worked. I remember I was like, oh shit, I really have to
Lock in.
And it caused people to stop being so nice to each other too and just be direct. I remember being tired of one post player that always was lazy about setting the screen and just being like, yo, I need the screen set. You wonder why you don't get the ball. Like, you don't set the play up right to get the roll to give you the ball. Set the screen. It forced us to be like, no, I'm tired of us doing shit the wrong way and being nice to each other because we had been together for years at that point. I'm tired of being like beating around the bush, being passive. It made us be like, no, wake the fuck up. This is some bullshit. The only one that's cussing us out can't be the coach. Like,
Exactly.
accountability is one thing, but it's like hearing a parent yell. Once you've heard them yell a few times, you're desensitized to it. If your teammate is yelling at you, it's something. It's a different level of accountability.
100%. I feel like most relationships, all friends, family, evolve to that point of the niceties go out the window and let's just get to the nitty gritty of it. So
yeah, we gotta stand on business.
Okay, period. So I hope the Aces figure it out, do something, make some type of shift. So last week we introduced the segment of off the court. So this week we want to get into it again. We played a fun little questioning game of which W couples do we love the most. And so this week on Off the Court, we got some further confirmation, probably the biggest hard launch of Paisley, aka Paige and AZ, as the newest power couple. So during All-Star Weekend, there is a platform, a page by the name of Wag Talk. And so they were doing interviews during the orange carpet at WNBA All-Star. And Wag Talk did an interview with Paige, and it was asking her questions all about her girlfriend. And the girlfriend reveal is at the end of the interview, and she says, AZ Fudd. We see like snippets of them out together. AZ had a party during All Star. Paige had a party. They were sitting together. We saw them on each other's lap. And so it just really confirmed like the hard lunch of it all. The internet ate it up. Like the TikTok kids, I seen more edits than I possibly could ever do. Literally, there was a moment on studbudz where Courtney was falling asleep to a Paige and AZ video. People like clipped that. Like it was the talk of the town. And so that happened off the court. In other relationship news off the court, we also got another hard launch. This one, not as exciting, did not get the same response that Paige and AZ did. So we spoke about Jewel Lloyd and how she's having a terrible season. It seems that she's just having an interesting time in life. Last year, we saw during the Olympics, her girlfriend at the time, Taya, do like these cute vlogs, and they seem like a really nice, appropriate couple to be together of two hoopers. But during All-Star Weekend, the hard launch of Jewel Lloyd and Natalia Marshall. For those who don't know, Natalia Marshall played at Notre Dame a season ago and is currently still, I believe, playing college basketball for the University of Miami. So that means she is
Congratulations.
She might have graduated this year, maybe this May. So she just graduated.
Just keep playing when you graduate now.
Yeah, but she is the ripe age of 23. Jewel Lloyd is 31, going on 32 this year. So it's about almost a 10-year age gap between them. And so the internet was in a tizzy, honey, about what's going on. And me personally, I was sick to my stomach because why are you dating a child? And I think that it's also messing up your basketball. The basketball gods could not be in your favor when you're dating children. Coach Slaw, any thoughts on either of this? The hard launch of Paige and AZ and Jewel Lloyd's hard launch with Natalia, aka this child.
I think that Paige and AZ are in a very unique position. And I'm glad they love each other. And I'm glad they are public with that. I think that puts a different level of pressure on young couple. And I think they've, at least so far, shown really a level of maturity in how they handle themselves and conduct themselves in that way. And I think it's a new era for the W in that way, where like you might see some folks on the sideline or an announcer at a specific from a specific platform might say, "Oh, so and so's wife is here with their kid" or something like that. But seeing a couple from start to finish, and a
Yes.
couple at that who started off at the iconic UConn playing together and win a natty together. And
Hello.
Paige is in the league. God forbid anything happens. AZ's a no brainer as a first round pick next year's draft. So that's a different level of iconic that I don't think we've seen
True.
or from any W couple in the first place, yet alone one from start to finish at such a young age. And how that will carry into bringing up this new wave of fans is going to be cool and important and fun to watch too. But I have nerves for them as far as the amount of pressure that puts on you, the in your image, and the trolls gonna troll. I'm glad there's a lot of love in the edits. There's also a lot of shit in the comments that's always gonna be there. And I just hope they have the support in place to navigate it when those things become hard.
Yes.
Uh,
Wonderful points. I just also want to say, even though the pressure is now on Paige and AZ, I am happy that the pressure is off of their teammates who made a lot of funny TikToks this weekend about having to keep the secret of it all of this time and how like they've kept it a ball and like now they feel like so relieved that they no longer have to keep the secret. Paige and AZ being in a relationship.
and then,
Jewel.
sure, someone may be an adult or young adult. I personally don't think that necessarily means it's appropriate to have a certain level of age gap. That's just how I see it. I don't Jewel's 31, I'm about to be 31 in October.
Yeah.
My youngest sister is around the age
The girlfriend.
Jewel's new girlfriend. I'm glad they appear to be happy. I'm glad they appear to be having a safe relationship, but it makes me wonder about the nature of how they got together and what the motivations are. But I don't know either one of them personally.
Neither do I.
If somebody was dating my sister at my age, I'd look at them sideways.
Immediately.
And maybe that's something I need to work on. I'm not saying I think I know for a fact Jewel did something wrong. It doesn't make me, I'm not comfortable with that.
It's uncomfortable. So that was everything that happened off the court this week. So to wrap up, we played our super fun game last episode of Love Island W edition. But this episode, we're going to keep it in the same like lovers reality TV game, but we're going to do the Queer Ultimatum. So Coach Slaw and I have offline because we real friends in real life, child, had a debrief about the Queer Ultimatum and everything that happened. And so we thought that it would be fun to play the game Queer Ultimatum, the W. So Coach Slaw posed the question to me last episode of who I wanted to be my Islanders. So, Coach Slaw, who would be your Queer Ultimatum couples?
I think for entertainment value is Melissa and Dejanay.
Okay. I like that. That's a good one.
I think it might be fun to see Kate, Martin, and Claire.
I didn't think about that.
You don't see them
No.
pop out as much. So that might be interesting. It's hard because the couples I'm thinking about are already married, a lot of them, so that won't work.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a bit soon, but the kids will definitely want to see Pacey.
Oh, 100%.
So I think you have to throw that in there. This couple, I don't think it really counts, but the beforehand maybe, because they're already engaged now. But Natasha Cloud, Isabel Harrison might be fun.
I like that one, especially because Natasha Cloud, I feel is, like I said last episode, very flirty, very outside, friendly.
I mean, I'm late. She's been letting people know what it is. Very public.
Yes. She's been in her lover girl bag. I'm proud of her.
And I think this also is a bit soon, or maybe still unconfirmed. I don't know. But Sanaya Rivers and Marina Mabry, particularly because Marina's a bit of a crash out. And
I would be so entertained by that. Like, during the period of the trial marriages, or like even just the dating period before they even make it to the choice and the actual trial marriages, Marina's gonna crash out. There was literally a live of them yesterday, and Tanaya was going through her requested DMs, like just reading them out on the live, and Marina looked like she wanted to crash out then, and like she was just reading them.
She did. And I feel like we need one more for good measure.
Okay,
Gabby Williams and
Maureen Johanna.
Johannes.
Okay, I feel like that's a solid cast. Now, the real question is, who do we think out of all these people that we listed, who would pick each other to be in a trial marriage with one another based on what we know about their personalities, their couples? Like, who could we see in a trial marriage?
I have no clue. Me, I'm very tunnel vision on a lot of things.
Okay. I definitely have thoughts on who I think could potentially pair up and be interesting for trial marriages. It may give us some drama, some
Okay.
tea.
Okay.
So I think that Natasha Cloud and Dejanay would be an interesting trial marriage. I think that it could be
You think? Okay.
I think it would be very different, very wild, but I do think that they are both very like faith-centered people. I've heard them talk about their faith like a lot, and I could see them connecting during the dating phase of the show on that and like the wanting of having a family. They both like love dogs and stuff like that. I could easily see them being like, all right, we can connect on that. And Dejanay has said and made many comments about wanting her woman to be like the man. And so I feel like Natasha Cloud a lot of times like fills that role and plays a lot of things that are considered to be traditionally like male or that a husband would do. So I could see them pairing up, but I could see that being messy.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I also don't know because Cloud like has very specific political views, and
That is true.
I don't know that Dejanay
Mm,
is as progressive as Cloud is in some of that.
agree.
But it's a trial marriage. It's not like you don't have to be great matches as life partners. It's what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make it. We can make some shake with that. That's cool.
Anybody you could see being in a trial marriage? I know you said you're not really.
The whole concept of the show is so wild to me that I know.
It's literally insane.
I troll my girlfriend about it. Yeah, we should get on it. And she was like, get on what?
Immediately no.
But I'm completely joking. Like, I don't see a point.
No.
What if Gabby Williams and Marina Mabry and
That would be interesting.
Sanaya Rivers, AZ Fudd?
That just send me in a panic.
It's great.
I also could see Gabby Williams and Kate Martin. I think that would be an interesting pair. I think it would be like very,
Really?
huh?
I don't know about that. I feel like they would just go to the batting something. Like they'd be chilling.
Exactly.
But I don't think it would give us the tea we need. Like,
Yeah, it wouldn't be tea. It would just be like cool. Like they'd be buds.
yeah, they'd be like, we're brothers.
We're happy and we're singing and we're not colored. Yeah.
Which can be fun. Maybe that's a good.
Yeah. I mean,
We had a femme pairing that neither of them actually date femmes on the real Ultimatum Clear Love season 2.
exactly.
So maybe that a mask-ish pairing or an androgynous pairing would be
Stem,
fun to
stem.
watch. Stems.
That could be
But
cute.
I would like to see Marina's reaction to Sanaya's involvement with AZ, Paige's reaction to Sanaya's involvement with AZ, and I would like to see Gabby Williams' dynamic because Gabby is like steadfast and chill and
Yeah.
in juxtaposition to Marina's
Interesting.
expressive nature and more assertive nature.
I definitely think that's a more messy show, and so that's what the show was here for. So I support that. Now, the one question is, who do we think out of all of these couples would cheat in their trial marriage or would step outside the parameters?
I am not trying to slander anybody. Full disclaimer.
This is all fun and games, shits and giggles.
Shits and giggles, fun and game. Well, who do you think? Why it gotta be me? I wasn't trying to create chaos.
Okay, I'll see it.
But not chaos. You know what I'm saying? Like production value, but not.
I'm not scared. I think that it would potentially be Sanaya Rivers. Like we said, because it's so new, because there's so much going on with Marina, I could easily, especially paired up with AV, pretty girl, I could definitely see her taking that step, crossing that line.
AZ crossing that line? Because that's also what you're saying.
I could see it. If the timeline of her changing relationship is true and they've been together for that long, they're still very young, she may want to explore something different, something black. So they're here. Potentially. They may not take it all the way. They may not go too far, but they may do a little.
You can see them connecting.
I could. It could be fun. It could be a TikTok dance. It could be, yeah.
I was going to say the person I think is most likely to is actually Marina.
Really?
This is full disclosure, it's probably a projection, but people who act like that, so no, my person this and about their person all the time usually be outside.
Because they know what they're doing, so they worried about what their partner doing.
I.e. Dana on Queer Ultimatum.
Queer.
I've been in.
I could definitely see that. Now, the last question that I have for our game before we get out of here is, who do we think actually gets engaged at the end of the show? Who gets engaged out of the original couples?
I love them. They're gays.
Very much like the real
Very
stuff.
much we love being in love. We love doing romantic, huge gesture things. They all that bullshit for nothing. Like
the heartache, really, the palpitations, everything. The
heart poster just to log back in.
I know how that goes.
You have any specific people in mind?
Of who I think gets engaged?
Yeah.
I think Melissa and Dejanay get engaged. I could easily see that. I think that Kate and Claire, they would not have any real issues in their trial and may be friendly. They could definitely get engaged at the end. And I think that, who else? Maybe Paige and AZ. But other than that, I'm not too sure. Maybe Gabby and Marine because they're already engaged in real life. But
Ain't that all I want?
yeah, that's all of them except for Marina and tonight. They're the only ones I see heading for. That's it. It's always the one. But then again, like you said, they could get engaged. They give me very much Marie and Mel. One is toxic, and they just don't know how to say no, and they want to stay until they get engaged anyway, but they don't make it to the altar.
When they break up, damn.
Very unfortunate. This was super fun once again playing that game. We will have, I'm sure, another game in future episodes. Thank you guys so much for listening, recapping 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend with us, talking about what the hell is going on with the Aces and our off the court segment and playing our Queer Ultimatum game. I'm Nia Senior, my amazing co-host, Coach Slaw, and we'll see you on the next one. Toodles.
Peace.